Just groove. A little more.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Who Threw the Curve. And we have Samantha. Samantha, do you smile or you just smirk?
I want to know blue.
Oh, see, that's a smile. We're here with Samantha from Jersey. For a second, I thought people in Jersey don't smile. And myself from New York
No, that's
City.
New York.
From New York City. And today we're not gonna expose men or women, but we're gonna talk about how one woman exposed the whole filter thing. So the name of the topic is how one woman exposed the real and Instagram's real. So basically, this woman she went on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, one of them, and she showed all these posts that she did with all filters, and that's how she posts. And then she showed her real self, and her real self, again, like I said before we started recording, her real self, I'm not gonna pass judgment, her real self looked nothing like the actual filters, you know. And people get fooled by that, and I think social media has screwed up people's minds so bad, especially young people, because they're so worried about what they look like, instead of what they really appear. And then, in the future, we're going to talk about a topic on that. That's one of our future topics, that me and you're going to tackle. But for now, we're going to tackle this one. People fall for that. Like, you'll have people that meet online, and all they did was see them online, and then they actually like I walk by, let's say, a woman I met online, and I'm like, I walked right by her because I didn't recognize her because she don't have a filter on. And then like, hey, Rob. I'm like, oh, and who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. Do why do you think people do that? Remember, I came from a generation where there wasn't internet and social media. I play with social media now, but you know, people like I have people asking, well, why didn't you wear braces? I'm like, well, if it bothers you, don't look at my face. That's what I tell people. Like, because
Yeah.
I didn't feel well. Number one is my mother didn't put them on, but number one, two is once I got older. I mean, did it matter? Does it matter? If it matters to you, don't look at my face. You know what I'm saying? So, but people are so worried about what they look like. Oh, he got a pimple. He didn't shave this, and oh, you saw that he got spots, or she got spots, or she like. Why are people so concerned about that? Like, they don't realize that one day somebody's going to see them outside and realize, oh, they don't really look like that.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with how society is. Like all the magazines, them models don't look like that. People like they have all the makeup and the picture corrector. Like my son had picture day not too long ago at school, and one of the questions was, "Do you want to fix blemishes or anything?" So we have that like technology and the ways to fix all
Really?
that, and yeah, and then of course it's an extra charge, but I mean it's
When we did school pictures, they just said, yo, make sure you comb your hair. That was it.
now it's, do you want to fix any red spots, blemishes, or anything like that, and then they also have, do you want to fix regular blemishes or do you want to fix the whole face? Like that was like the two different. I just threw it out. I wish I could show you, but yeah, it gives you two different types of editing options basically for school pictures.
Really? That
Yes.
is so crazy because back in days, your parents would be like, oh, I'm not paying for those. You look horrible. There was no editing. You got what you got. That's how it was like, my, that's what I look like. So,
Yeah, but everybody uses filters, but everybody is also so critical because it's like you said, like, oh, they didn't cover that pimple. You get a pimple too. Like, why are you worried?
I, I, I don't even think I know how to use filters. Like, I've never used a filter. So what you see is what you get when you see me personally. You see me. Actually, I might be a little skinnier because I look a little heavier when I'm on the camera. But uh, besides that, no. What you see is what you get. Even the
Right.
attitude. is what you got.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't understand why you know. And again, I guess it's a social media thing that's screwing everybody's minds up because everybody's on social media, and then everybody wants to be like somebody else. And I don't know who fixes that. Is that the parents who have to fix that and tell you, well, you know what, you don't need to be like anybody else. You don't have to do that. Like I don't know who. How does that get fixed? Because it just gets worse. More filters. Next thing you know, we're gonna have people making AI. I did a session. I don't know if you ever saw it on a girl. She did an AI of herself, and people pay her AI for sexual, like not obviously not intercourse, but sexual, like to speak sexually with them. And it's not even her. It's like a fake person, but it's her.
This whole AI thing is crazy. It came up on Snapchat. I don't even talk to it. Like the AI stuff is kind of creeping me out. I'll be very honest. Like I don't get me wrong. I've used filters. I'm not sitting here saying I've never used them, but I
Right,
use it more for fun.
right.
Like some of them are just fun. But as far as fixing it, truthfully, I feel like fixing it only comes from more within because a lot of people also use filters because of certain insecurities. And
But how did they get those insecurities? Like, where did that come from? Like, it had to come from the parents or where they live. Like, you
well, I
just
mean,
couldn't.
you go to school, you grow up in school. Like I was picked on in school. I was told I was too fat. My nose didn't look right. This wasn't right. That wasn't right. But
Well, I was a bully.
yeah, I know because me and my mom don't have ankles because of you, right? Remember that?
I was definitely a bully.
So I don't look at my ankles because of certain people. But yeah, I feel like I've also learned, like my parents also taught me, like not to be vulgar, but if you don't pay my bills, you don't feed me, you're not being intimate with me. I'll keep it PG. You're not being intimate with me. What I do, how I live, is not your business, and that's literally my everyday motto. You're not taking care of me, so why do I care about what you think and
I
feel?
I definitely agree with that concept because I say the same thing. I'm like, oh, did you pay my bill? If you do, then I'll do what you asked me to do.
Yeah. If you want to pay off this debt that I got going on, then I'll do whatever you want me to do. But other than that, no.
But
So
kids,
it just takes a mindset.
but kids are being like, I guess I don't want to say trained, but they're being, you know, this whole thing of and how they get these insecurities is watching other people, and then they just feel
Yeah.
some type of way. So, like, what do we do as parents? So you're a parent, and other parents are gonna be watching. Like, what should other parents do when your child is getting depressed?
Bless
Yeah,
themselves.
that must have been the ghosts, the spirits. They don't like this subject.
um, as far as a parent, so there was a situation where my son came home one time and he was told that one of his classmates said that he's too dark. And he has a nice brown caramel. He goes, Mommy, I wish I was your color because I'm too dark.
What does that even
So
mean?
somebody went up to him and said that his skin color is too dark.
I would have been like,
And
"Oh, let me catch you, catch your son. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you for getting dark."
so, yeah, that's first off, bullying, because at the time my son was 5. So for young kids to be bullying other young kids, that's definitely from the parents. So some of these parents will need to catch some hands because you can't
Right,
be walking around teaching your kid to be a menace to society. Like I said, I've said previously, and I'll say it all the time, I teach my son to be sweet, well mannered,
right,
and a good kid. You see someone get bullied, you defend that person.
right,
You get bullied, you punch them in the face. Like I'm that mom that you defend yourself.
right. That's it's kind of weird because I had conversations in the past about racism, and a lot of people. kids grow up into adults, and they don't like certain things, and they say things that sound racist or are racist. Like for instance, that child said that to your child, and that sounds racist, right? But that other child is going to grow up, and he's going to keep saying things like that, but he doesn't even understand why he feels like that, because the only
Right.
basis they have is because that's what they learned from their parents. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So it's sad that we have people running around saying things like that and don't even like they're not even really racist, but that's how they were taught, so they say dumb shit. Like I know a lot of
Right.
people like that. They'll say dumb things that come out as being a racist, but I know them personally enough to know that they're not really racist, just that they grew up in a racist household, and that's all they heard. But they don't hate Puerto Ricans or they don't hate blacks because they're befriending us and they chill with us. But that's what they heard, so that's what they say. And it's weird how kids are conditioned from young to say things like this, or they don't even know why they're saying it. They just say it because they heard it, and it's just the
Right.
right thing to say. Like they say, "Oh, well, he's a little dark," So they say something like that, which is going to come off as being racist, but it's because they're hearing it from their household. It may not even be their parents. It might be their uncle. It might be their grandmother. It's always grandmother, those little racist, wretched woman with wrinkled lips. But it could be from anybody. Um,
Yeah.
and they're being subjected to this from young. And I think this as well, because you got little kids. For instance, your child growing up is, if later on he's going crazy about filters, is because he had to learn it from his household. Stop
Yeah.
using, stop using filters, Samantha. Embrace yourself.
I'm very, and I try to speak positivity into him. Like in that situation, I told him that you're the perfect color, and he grew up knowing God, so he knows. And I'm like, God doesn't make mistakes, and I think that's what's also helped me. Like that's also given me like a leeway to help him feel better.
Yeah.
Um, I told him I make mistakes, God doesn't. So God made you the way you're supposed to be. And if God says you're perfect that way, you're perfect that way. And
Right.
then he responds, but then how come people say things like that to other people? Why did they say that to me? And he's young, but he's very smart. And so I told him straight up, sometimes people don't know how to teach or how to love others.
Right.
So your job when those people are mean is to, one, pray for them and love on them.
Right.
And hopefully they become a better person later on.
Right. 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 No. 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 And I agree. Like unfortunately, in my era, we were subjected to that all the time, but it was different. Then, like, it didn't kind of bother me. It didn't bother me if somebody called me a spick. It just became like, because I have friends that we grew up together. They used to be like, "You spick," and I used to just call them whatever. Um, it didn't bother me at all because I knew that you were still peoples. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't hate me. It's just a word that we threw around all day, amongst other words. Now it's become a different thing. Everybody gets butthurt for every little thing, but
Yeah.
your children, I don't think, should be subjected to certain things, And it's a shame because sometimes you grow up in areas that there aren't a lot of Spanish, or there aren't a lot of blacks, or there aren't any white people. So it's like, it's weird because it can work the other way too, because you could be a white child going to a totally minority school,
Yeah.
and there's no other white people there. And then guess what? They're going to pick on you. So it works in the reverse as well. But
Yeah.
the whole filter thing, but this could be attached to being a filter. So now you have a child who's being subjected to that, and they're conditioning him. And guess what? He's gonna use filters that's gonna make him lighter, because since young he was starting to feel some type of way, because where he was going to school they were saying he was too dark. So now he wants to get. Next thing you know, he wants to be like Michael Jackson and get bleached and shit like that. It's a weird, fucked up thing. But kids, it all starts from the beginning. Like, they just start getting conditioning, and meanwhile, when you're a kid, you're not supposed to think of anything like you're supposed to not like yourself. Like you're a kid. Like
Yeah.
why wouldn't you like yourself? I can see if you're 29 and 30 and you're an alcoholic and you're beating your wife and shit like that, and you say I do not like myself. Yeah, I can see that, but you're a kid. You're not doing anything. You're supposed to have fun. Why are you being subjected to things to make you think on why you shouldn't like your appearance?
I think that falls back on, like, okay, in his situation, like me, I have to teach my son to nurture him to, no matter what other people say, love yourself. So
Right.
that way, when he gets to 15 and he doesn't use the lighter skin filter, like as a parent, you have to, just as much as show kids how to be as in a society, you have to love on them just as much, because loving on them, and I'm not just saying hugs and kisses, but like sharing positivity to them, it goes a long way. Because even now, like, he doesn't think about that situation anymore, and then he has the friends that he thinks are that they think are cool with him, and he's cool, and he's just enjoying it. And
Right.
you have to be open
Right.
as young as they are, age appropriately, but as young as they are, you have to be open to certain discussions, because it's like I said, I didn't start getting picking on until I was the end of elementary, but definitely middle school. It started more, but now I'm seeing it more that the elementary school kids are getting picked on, and it's just, you have to start young. Parents, teach your kids how to act, because there's going to be that one parent, whether it's me or whoever, that's going to teach you how to teach your kid how to act. Because as much as I show my son love, again, you got to defend yourself too. And
Right.
when it comes to my kids, there's this whole meme or trend that goes around that, for my kids, I'll smile on my mugshot 100%, and I'll screenshot it and I'll send it to the family. Like, look what I did. It's, teach your kids how to be good human beings for the future. And also for those other parents, you have to be positive to help bring them up, because when kids also, when they know they have a good support system, that makes them just as strong too.
Right. No, you're right. Another one I want to bring up is, so I know you're engaged and stuff, so you got a man. But let's say you didn't have a man, right? Let's say you're talking to some dude, I don't know, on Facebook, Instagram, and all you know is what you see on Instagram. And then all of a sudden you guys decide you want to meet up. And when you meet up, here you thought the kid was white and the kid is black, and he don't even speak English well. He's Spanish too. So you meet this kid, and like, what would you do? I mean, is that like fair? Like, you just wasted your time.
No,
You're not even interested because
no, I'm done. I'm done. At that point, I'm done. And it's not the fact of, I'm not the type of person that I care how you look. I care how you are as a person. And if you're lying about your own looks, I can just imagine what else you're lying about. Like, that is 100% red flag. Like, if you hit me up, you got braces, your nose is a little crooked because you had an injury as a child, I could care less.
yeah,
Be honest. First off, and then it's going to piss me off that I didn't use my filters. You see how because if I have a filter on Instagram, it's like those little cute little heart ones. That's a filter.
right,
Other than that, I don't edit like the pictures much on Instagram.
right. So
And by much, like I said, it's just a cute little filter. It's not anything crazy. So if you know how I look, why can't I know how you look? And if you're gonna lie about that, no,
so
I'm walking out.
is it safe to say that pretty much, let's say 90% of social media is all a lie as far as physical traits
Yeah,
and look?
100%. Not even 100%.
I totally agree. I just want to see what a young person says.
No, like, you can't, because like I said, if I was to meet up with you and you look different, I'm not even giving you the time. I'm just turning my ass around and going back home and figuring something else out to do. I'll change into my pajamas and watch a movie. No.
So before we cut off, you get the last talk. or the last opinion. So what do you think? Do you think it's something that people should practice, or that, they should just practice it for fun? But in reality, what may be, some people use it as fun, like all those funny faces and stuff like that. But some people really use it all the time because, again, like you said, they feel some way about the way they look. What do we tell these people? Like, how do we make that better?
The only thing I could think is like, look into your inner self. You don't care what anybody else says, because like I said, nobody feeds you, nobody pays your bills, nobody does anything for you. And you're sitting here trying to make everybody else happy because of how you look. But at the end of the day, they care for the moment. You get the like, but they don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I know you said you get the last one, but you just said something. So, I mean, if it's a business, I guess you could do that, because if it's about likes and getting business. Like, another thing, why are you worried about getting likes? Like, for instance, I have social media for both Sensual Ambition and Eclectic Urban Wear. And people go, you're getting a little bit of likes. Yeah, I said, I don't need likes. I need people to go to my website and buy. I don't care if they like it or not. You know how you show me you like it? Buy something. Don't tell me you like the picture. Like, that doesn't matter to me, how many likes I get. It matters only because it helps the algorithm. But a lot of people also go crazy because they don't have enough likes. Like, what's that about?
I can't tell you. I have no idea. I'm lucky if I get one or two likes sometimes, but and if I do, it's the same two people.
They get depressed because they're not getting nothing. It's crazy. I don't know what this world is coming to.
People need to start looking at themselves. Ultimately, you need to start looking at yourself, making yourself happy, because nobody's gonna make you happy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With that said, you heard it. Samantha said, just be happy. Stop being a phony. And we'll see you on the next segment. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to subscribe and share us. And follow us, depending on where you're at. A lot of people see us on YouTube, which is our main home. And then a lot of people see us on Rumble, which is our second home. TikTok is always shitting on us. They only get to see a couple of videos. And then we have an Instagram, but we don't really mess with Instagram like that too much. But our other nice home is Twitter. So don't forget to share us. Thanks.
A little more. Just